All right, so this one is a little bit different. Also, good morning to any and everybody who just may run into this live stream at a certain point in time throughout your day. Uh, I'm just, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to, my mind is all over the place right now. So, as you can clearly see in the title, uh, it's in a sense talking about predictive programming, right? So, we've had quite a few things that have taken place um, in the news media, right? So you can see a few of those directly in front of you, some of which you might have already seen or run directly into um, by way of me um, doing some videos. So the first one that we have is the to the left, Arizona authorities issue evacuation shelter in place order after nitric acid spill. That was in Arizona, right? And then this week, we had the fire contained at port of uh, Catoosa, right? And then before both of those, we had the event that took place in East Palestine, Ohio. And when I first learned about that, nobody in a sense was really talking about it, mainstream media news, right? And I learned about it technically a little bit late. I think it was about maybe a little bit about maybe a week, maybe a little bit on the tail end of it. And magically now you see a lot of mainstream in a sense, well, at least maybe one or two talking specifically about what took place in East Palestine, Ohio. The problem is you're not going to have them deep dive, do actual uh, journalistic type of work in order to get out the information to people to let them know how detrimental, how horrible, um, how worse the situation actually is. Some people might think, well, it's pretty much over. People were able to return back home. Life is, going right back to normal when realistically it's not. The water in East Palestine, Ohio is poisoned. The ground is poisoned, right? Ground, soil, if they have potentially any aquifers. Hey, Yvette, what is up? What is up? What is up? Much love and appreciation. Um, yeah, the soil, the ground, the water, pretty much everything there in East Palestine, Ohio, is toxic. And it's not going to get any better no time soon. People thought what they saw in Flint, Michigan was terrible. Give it about, for East Palestine, if people happen to keep track of, give it about a good 10 to 15, maybe 20 years. You're going to really start to see the effects of what took place there. A lot of the children that are there go to school there, still go to school there. They're still playing outside and all of that. You're going to see the effects that are going to take place, and it's going to be bad. You're going to start seeing commercials later on in the future where it's like, hey, if you or anybody that knows lived in East Palestine, Ohio, in between the time of, 2023, February this and February that, I mean, actually, it'll be 2023 February, and then they'll probably give it a certain length of time, maybe within a certain amount of years, maybe within like a 10-year span or something like that. But there's going to be a major lawsuit. There's going to be a major lawsuit, just like we always see those commercials. If you or anybody that you know suffers from mesothelioma, please call this number. We have a class action lawsuit that you may be able to get money from. That's what's going to take place in East Palestine. And if they don't do it that way, they're going to try to go to maybe door to door or whatever it is and get those people, right? And try to give them some hush money real quick. And it's not going to be a lot, right? They might hand them like, hey, we heard that, your family or, one of your loved ones might have been affected. We're going to have hand you this check for like 10 grand, right? They'll do some stuff like that when realistically, how bad the situation is, they're owed a whole lot more money. Sly Jones said, there's a train that runs right behind my house. It carries sodium hydroxide and toxic chemicals. I'm not worried if, but when that train has an accident. Yo, the way that it's looking right now, don't be too surprised. Like I said, I hope that you and your family are, are safe. I do not want anything happening to you at all. Um, but do not be too surprised, because a lot of these things, like case in point, the reason why I did this live stream is to show a few things, and it's specifically to talk about predictive programming, where some of the images that you are able to see, you already saw the images before, you just don't realize it, right? So let me go into step one, right? So let me go into the back here and go here. Need to actually make these larger so I can see these. View, extra large. All right, so which one do I want to start off on first here, right? Okay. So I'll do this one, right? So there's this movie that came out last year. It's called White Noise. You can look it up. I would actually implore anybody to actually look up the movie and to go, look at the trailer. So this is a synopsis, right? The life is disrupted, however, when a cataclysmic train accident casts a cloud of chemical waste over the town. This airborne toxic event forces mass evacuation, which leads to a major traffic jam on the highway. Jack drives to the gas station to refill his car, where he is inadvertently exposed to the cloud. The family and numerous others are forced into quarantine at a summer camp. Murray supplies Jack with a small palm sized pistol to protect himself against more dangerous survivalists in the camp. One day, chaos ensues when the family desperately tries to escape the camp. The Gladneys are almost able to make it out, but end up with their car floating in a river. After 9 days, the family is able to leave the camp. However, since Jack was briefly exposed to the chemical waste, his fear of death becomes exacerbated, right? So minus the details about the main character, who is played by Adam Driver. Like his character, I think is named Jack, right? He's the family man. So in the image that you see in a sense the family, maybe some neighbors and different stuff like that. Um, what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, White Noise was filmed in that area. Let me just repeat that one more time for the people in the back that might not really understand. This movie was made last year, and it was filmed in Ohio. It was filmed in and around the same area as East Palestine. On top of that, one of the extras that was actually in White Noise was actually affected by what the events that took place in East Palestine. So let me just repeat that. Let me just, because I want people to understand that when I would tell you guys, let's say some years ago when I first started this platform, I used to always say something that my mom would always tell me all the time. She still says it to this day. Art imitates life, life imitates art. So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that the event that took place in White Noise, which is a movie that was made last year, that event, the same event, pretty much happened in East Palestine this year, February. The I think somebody said the budget. I think the budget for the film, if you were to look up, the budget was about like $100 million, and I'm not even sure if it even actually made any of that money back, because nobody even heard of the film realistically. Now I'm pretty sure people are actually trying to look at the film now, among other films, but this is a part of predictive programming. This is, in a sense, how the powers that be that are in control of a lot of things, they will insert a lot of these ideas through ways of story, through way of entertainment, in order to get you used to it, in order for you to be like fine and dandy. So if you happen to see it, you're not realistically going to freak out, right? It'll be like, oh well, You know, it's a shame that this happened. It almost reminds me of such and such movie, or it reminds me of such and such TV show. They almost had something, you know, eerily similar. But again, you're not really going to freak out, which means that you're not going to really think anything of it, which means that everything is going to go back to business as usual. So for the people that are in East Palestine, when I looked at a lot of um, the videos and you know some of the interviews, they were just happy to be back. They really didn't have any worries. They weren't thinking about, oh well, you know, what if the chemicals are this and no, they were just like, hey, I can rest better at home instead of me being at a neighbor's house, family member's house, you know, held up in a hotel. I'm happy to be home. Let me just open up the windows and you know clean a few things, and you know everything will be completely fine and dandy. Like I said, all of these things are test runs. That's clear cut. That's all it is. The whole world is a stage. I could have sworn. Who said that? Shakespeare. The whole world is a stage. Yeah, that's what it is, right? So just in case people don't, you know, really understand, let me go back to another image here, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier, right? So this is just a snippet from the article, right? Here's almost everywhere. White noise was filmed in Northeast Ohio. Northeast Ohio is the same exact area where East Palestine is located and where all of the chemicals and that huge spill. So on the right side, you see East Palestine, Ohio. It looks like something from a movie film, and it's not. That's how bad it is. You in a sense don't even really get the full scope, right? So if you look to the right side, right, which I have marked February of 2023, if you look at the top picture where you can see all of the containers, all of those things, they look like they were just burned. It looked like fire was just dropped directly on them. But that's because of the chemicals that came out. That's how caustic those chemicals are. They charred. Of course, it was already on fire, right? But it also discolored, burned through, and potentially also melted through some of those containers. It damaged that whole area. What they basically stated was that they did a control burn, right, in order to burn off the chemical and all of these things, right? So then, if you look below the containers to the second picture, where it almost looked like a nuke went off, that's the explosion. That's all of that stuff going directly into. I haven't seen something that looks like that. Last time I saw something that looks like that was like Dante's Inferno. I'm sorry, was it Dante? Yeah, it should have been like Dante's Inferno or something like. Somebody might know what I'm talking about in the comment section. Comment section. It was a movie with Pierce Brosnan, and it was this volcano, Dante's Peak. That's what it was. That's what it was. Dante's Peak, where the volcano basically went off, and you saw all of this soot and smoke and ash and all of these things go directly into the air. That's what this looks like. That's what this looks like. Because you know, even if I want to go towards like animate, again, it looks like a bomb was dropped in that area. And all you see is this big thing of like soot and smoke going directly into the air. Let me see if I actually have the other image so I can show you what it looks like from the air. Let me see if I have that. Let me see here. You gotta give me a quick second. I think I should have them in order. I want to say, where would the picture be here? I don't have it, huh? That is a little bit insane there. Huh. So what I'm going to have to do is that let me minimize that. Um, Let me close that out. Let me go here. Uh, where is the image? Matter of fact, let me just make a new picture. Because you got to understand like the scope of what this is, right? And this was taken from an airplane, which is the craziest part. Give me a second. I'm just looking through. Got like a lot of pictures here. Let me just do that. Make the background black and download. A couple of seconds. Like, it's diabolical. Let me tell you, it's a very diabolical thing, knowing the fact that, again, quote unquote, the powers that be, this is, what they're out there doing. It's like, hey, well, we're losing control of certain things. um you win some, you lose some, right? So this is what it looks like from the air. Hold on, let me see if I can make that a little bit larger for you guys. So you can see the wing of an airplane, right? Directly to the right of the image, you see the wing of an airplane, and then below it, you see, like, in front of you, you see like the however far you can see of the earth, right? And then that little spot right there, that's the explosion that took place in East Palestine, Ohio. You see all of the cloud coverage there, and you see that bit there. That lets you know the magnitude, how much chemicals, how much of this soot, how much of all of this was put directly in the atmosphere over that area. That's ridiculous. You can see that directly from a plane. Just imagine how that would look if you were able to get closer to that. Like I said, people like, I wish I could make people understand the magnitude of this. I really wish I could make people understand the magnitude of this, because it's bad. It's bad. It's the same exact thing when we had the oil spill. People still don't even, still to this day, people don't even understand. It's not even registering how bad that was. And then we had another oil spill, which a lot of people don't even know about, that happened in the Northern Sea as well. So it's like that whole side is basically covered in oil. And man, this people just people don't know. People don't know. But so going back to the previous image of the article, White Noise opens at Cedar Lee Theater on Friday before premiering on Netflix on December 30th. So remember, it was premiering on Netflix December 30th of 2022. In February, on the roughly the first week plus of February, this is what took place, right? So you got White Noise, which is the film about these containers filled with this toxic chemical that, ends up derailing in this small town, this small nowhere town, and it affects a lot of these people, and they're forced to evacuate. February of this year, right, in East Palestine, Ohio, the same exact thing happens. Train basically derails, toxic chemicals, it's a huge spill. People are forced to evacuate. They don't make it back to their homes for like a week plus, right? So the main part that I wanted to highlight for people: Cleveland, Ohio, Northeast Ohio up top, and then at the very bottom, right, it says, based on an acclaimed novel by Don DeLillo, White Noise is about a college professor named Jack Gladney, who was played by Adam Driver, who, along with his wife, Babette Gerwig, and their 4 children, are forced to evacuate after a train versus a truck with a tanker truck accident causes an airborne toxic event in Northeast Ohio. Now, the only difference from that is we didn't have a large truck that caused that. What happened on the rail system, which I think I might have put that up there in the video, is the fact that there was a fire that was already started on the tracks, which more than likely already warped the tracks to the point where the train, instead of the tracks being straight, it was warped in a type of way where it was going to force the train to derail at a certain point. And that's clear cut what happened, which means that if a fire was set, it means it was also deliberate. Somebody specifically wanted that tanker. Well, I mean, wanted all of that to basically spill out directly in that city, right? Why wasn't the tracks warped in a location where there wasn't a town, where it was just like nothing but like forest or away from like any towns or cities? Like I said, it was planned specifically. So then we're gonna go to another image here, right? Let me show y'all where this one here, right? So this is basically a map. I'm not sure if you can see like the red dot on the right image, but the red dot is basically where East Palestine, Ohio, is located. Right? You got in a sense three maps here. So you got the first map basically showing you like Erie. It shows you like all the main counties and whatnot located in the area. Then the second map is a little bit more in depth. It's a little bit more close in, where you can see a couple of areas. You see Akron, New Philadelphia, Youngstown, Newcastle, Grove, Cranberry Town, and then you see the red dot, right? And then the map to the right is everything zoomed in, so you can see exactly where East Palestine is, right? So the East Palestine area, that was the area that was pretty much hit. Pretty much this whole area was hit with all of that toxic fumes, all of that toxic chemicals that went directly into the atmosphere above that area, that went directly into the ground and also the groundwater. You had state officials wanted to state that the water in the creeks and whatnot, it's not safe to drink. They wouldn't recommend it. But the water that's coming directly into your home is safe to drink. If the water outside is not safe to drink, how would the water that is coming through the pipes be safe? Everything is linked. Everything is linked. And they said that they're doing continuous testing. But the most interesting part about that is another area stated that, hey, we're just as a precaution, we're swapping over where we get our water from. So again, remember, you have the government officials there trying to tell people, hey, don't drink from the creek or anything like that because it's toxic, it's polluted. They even had environmentalists coming out there and well, not even clear cut hazmat suits, but they were coming through in like the white heavy plastic suits, going through the creeks and the water to pick up the dead fish because the water is toxic. If the water is toxic, that means everything else was hit too. So that means everything that is growing there, that means the wildlife, that means the soil. Like I said, everything is linked. If the water is safe for you to drink, then why did another area say that they were, as a precaution, they're switching over their water? Like I said, people got to pay attention. People are not being made aware of how devastating, of how bad this really is. And then at the bottom of the image, you see it states an extra in a disaster movie about a toxic train derailment was evacuated in Ohio after the exact same thing happened in real life. And this article was written February 14th of this year. So just think about that. You're an extra in a film, and it's just a film, right? It's just entertainment. It's not real. Like it would never happen. So then you sit up there, you're on this film, you're on the set, you're watching everything, and you're seeing how it goes, trying to remember, where you're supposed to be, your placement, or maybe you might have a line or whatever it is. You finally get done with the movie. You maybe watch the movie to see if you can find yourself directly in it. And then lo and behold, the next year, the exact same movie you acted in, you're now in real life. That movie is now real life. You got to evacuate because you have a toxic cloud, you got toxic chemicals directly in the air. Like I said, I don't think people really understand. I don't think they really understand. So we're going to go to the next one, right? We're going to go to the next one here. So just in case, people might think, that's just whatever it is. Let's just go to this one here, right? So this is another movie. Maybe some people might not have heard of. It's a movie called The Hack. Was called Dragon Day, right? And the short little synopsis of it is this: a family getaway to the mountain town turns deadly when China launches a massive cyber attack against the United States, forcing former NSA engineer Duke Evans to fight to save his wife and daughter in the New World Order. Right? So, China basically, used some devices in order, to have some things transpire, right, in American Note. And this movie was back in 2013, right? So then in 2023, it states United States tracked a spy balloon after it took off from China. United States intelligence officials were tracking a spy balloon that was shot down earlier this month. When news broke about the Chinese balloon flying over the United States airspace, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken postponed a planned trip to China. So just think about that, right? Just like I said before, a lot of things, art imitates life, life imitates art. A lot of things, are test runs, right? In order to get a reaction or in order to see how far they can take it before people start to like wise up to everything that is, directly going on. Right? Again, Dragon Day, which is a movie about China having devices that they're able to affect the United States in a certain type of way. And here we are in 2023 where quote unquote a spy balloon from China was shot down. Yet again. Yet again, seems a little bit more than coincidences. Because I know, a lot of people like, conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hats, yeah. Nah, it's, people just happen to pay attention, to the things that are directly out there, right? So then we're going to go to technically I could have did, a whole full on, thing with this. But I, just wanted to do a little bit to have people understand. So then we can go into this one, right? The next film called Dark Waters, right? Short synopsis. A corporate defense attorney takes on an environmental lawsuit against a chemical company that exposes a lengthy history of pollution, right? So basically in that film, you have Mark Ruffalo, who is the lawyer. He's on the other side, right? He defends the corporate system, right? He defends the ones that are putting out the pollution. And once he returns home, he sees, in a sense, like an old, family friend that's going through something, right? And what ended up taking place, he showed him his farmland. And he was like, "How many, cattle do you think is here?" He's like, maybe 10, whatever it is. He was like, no, try like 90 or 90 plus. Like he basically what the farmer was saying is that, yo, because of the pollution, because of what these corporations are doing, it's killing off my livestock and they know it. And they're not doing anything to stop it. Right. So if you want to technically look at it in a certain aspect, let me I'm not sure if I even have the video. There was a video that was on social media. Some of you guys might have seen it, where it was a black farmer, and I think some of his livestock, ended up getting sick or dying. It was some stuff happening. So in a sense, it's very similar to this movie. The only difference is those farmers don't have a Mark Ruffalo that's going to back them up, that has a conscience that's like, yo, I gotta switch it up. I gotta, defend these people. I gotta, get this to stop. Right? It's the exact same thing. We got a lot of these corporations that are directly out here, the rich, and they're out here poisoning, people's farms. They're killing off cattle. Um, the most interesting thing about everything that is, in a sense, taking place at this moment in time for 2023, I actually have a lengthy video. I would actually have to try to go back and find it. I spent 10, 15, I think maybe like 20 minutes, and I was going through states. It was around like last, I want to say the earlier part of last year, maybe. I think it was where you had a lot of farms being affected, right? So you had crops that were being affected. Some of them had to be like scorched earth. You had chickens that had to be taken out by the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. You had pigs, you had turkeys, you had cows. Anything that you can name that walks on a farm, it had to get taken out. If it was going to get sold to a table, they immediately took it out. You had events where small planes were hitting factories for no reasons. Some factories were just on fire for no reason, and these are like major factories that dish out turkey, that dish out chicken, that dish out eggs. And you see what's happening right now where they just recently, quote unquote, had an egg shortage. How much of a shortage it really was, can't really sit up there and tell you. I look at that the same way I look at the what was it, the paper towel, and the what was the other shortage? We had what? Toiletries, paper towel, and we also had the hand sanitizer. For whatever reason, people were just buying a lot of that stuff up, right? And people were just freaking out. It's like, oh man, I don't care about the food. I don't care about anybody, anything else. We gotta get the hand sanitizer. They were also having a shortage of bleach at one point in time. And I'm like, how do you have a shortage of bleach, which is a chemical? It's not even something that's naturally occurring. We make that. So how is it possible that you got a shortage of something that we make? It's literally putting chemicals together. Bow, you got bleach. How? you know, it's the most craziest thing. But again, a lot of these things are predictive programming. These are the things that they specifically put into the entertainment so that they can get you used to, they can get you comfortable with the idea, with the thoughts of certain things taking place. Like, just remember, I put it to you like this. Remember, there was at a point in time, this is why I can't even believe everything that is, happening right now. So let me see if I can, because I want to just give a reference. Somebody just sit up here and let me see. So let's see, news. An insurance policy against alien abduction. 27 weird facts. That's weird. So I'm just gonna go with what would be a great image to use. We're gonna just go with the classic flying saucer here. That's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna go with the classic. Gotta go with the classic. Let me see. All right. So this is where we are at this moment in time, where we have this, in a sense, happening, right? And the whole thing that people are like, yo, man, hey, UFO this, UFO that. Let me let y'all know something. I was one of the main ones. I'm talking about like, like 80s, 90s, type of deal. I was like, all right, well, it's only so few people actually talking about this, and these are their experiences that they were happening. And you had, sparse people all over the world, talking about this again. It was a small minority, a very small minority talking about this. So for me, that made it more believable, right? You had different people all over the world talking about their experiences, different things that they've seen, right? Again, that for me made it more believable. We're at a point in time now where supernaturally the whole world is now seeing UFOs. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not, nope, 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 clocking out. I'm sitting this one out. Nope. I'm sitting this one out. Nope. I'm not, you're not about to sit up there and catch me with Project Bluebeam. We're not doing that. No, 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 no. It's not about to not about to catch him with that. Not at all. And you know, one of the most interesting thing, I'm trying to actually get this see if I can actually get this off of online here. If I can, it'll be great. I got like so many videos. Uh, on the back end, it's gonna be a little bit tough to try to go through everything and actually find, is that it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one. Okay, I got you. It's gonna take a second to download the image. But the main thing that I'm trying to get people to understand is that these are it's going to get to a point in time where it's going to be very tough to actually trust your senses, right? And what I mean by that is technology is going to be at a point in time so great. It's going to happen fast. Like people don't even understand it. People think that the things that we're seeing now and everything that's happening is, is whatever it is. It's like, no, we ain't really hit nothing yet. Because they showed off some animatronics where it was like a robot version of Trump. And the robot version of Trump, like you saw, like the hands moving, it had the mannerisms and they had the voice and everything. And the person controlling it went behind and took off like the scalp, and you saw the inside of Trump, right? So this right here is what I'm talking about, right? Um, this is an image of I forgot it was somewhere. I think it might have been at like a concert or whatnot. If you look real close, you can see the people at the bottom, right? The main thing that's very interesting directly about this is that all of this is holograms. These are, I wish I had a clearer image, a clearer picture of this, but all of this is holograms. So if they can do this in a concert, you can see, the stuff that they had to put in the air in order for the lasers and the holograms to like really catch, right? So it almost looks like you're in the ocean or a giant aquarium, right? So you can see the orcas, you can see the whales, you can see the dolphins, you can see the bubbles, you can see all of that. Now, what I want people to understand and pay attention to is the fact that they have put a lot of stuff directly in the air, right? Just think about all the stuff, because this is going to come into the effect of some people like, oh yeah, you must be talking about chemtrails. Those don't exist. That's not real. It's chemtrails. It's just heated air and in the upper cold atmosphere, and it catches, and then it does all the right. Again, I'm not here to argue with anybody. All I'm stating is that for years they've been putting things directly into the atmosphere, right? It looks a little bit hazy. It might look a little bit overcast. A variety of things. Even the weathermen, right, or weather women have been a little bit confused. It was like, hey, it's going to be it's going to be a sunny day out all day. And then next thing you know, a couple of planes will show up. And then it's like, now it's overcast. Now we got clouds in the sky. When the weatherman just told you it was going to be a clear day, they showed you the whole forecast. It was going to be a clear day. And magically, all of a sudden, it wasn't. So just think if they were putting more stuff into the air so that it'll get to a point in time where they can do things just like this. We have the technology to put holograms directly in the sky. I'm not sure if people saw the video of, let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. See if I can find the videos. So I'm not sure if people happen to remember China's fusion reactor ignited. Yep. All right. So let me just get that one. Like I said, people got to be paying attention. People got to pay attention to a lot of the stuff, that is transpiring directly out here. Like it's a wondrous time and it's amazing time and it's also a very scary time as well. People need to really catch up. People really really got to catch up. I think let me see if I can download this real quick. Get that, download, close that out, go to another media source, right, and then we're going to loop it. Might have to, let me see. All right. So this is the other image here, right? So the image to the right is China and their artificial sun, right? So this is the technology that, in a sense, that we're dealing with here, right? China has I think it was a fusion reactor, and it basically had that artificial sun giving off light, heat, whatever it was, for about 17 minutes. 17 minutes. Think about that. That's a long time. That's a very long time. And the main thing that I want people to also understand is I'm not going to try not to go so far with this because it might sound horribly crazy, right? So think about, if I'll put it to you like this. All right, right. So if they can make this artificial sun, right? Think about the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth. Think about that, right? Now, no, this is not me trying to theorize and say that the Earth is this, the Earth is that. I'm just going by what they had directly in the movie. Remember, it's entertainment. It's fake. It's not real. Again, so in the movie, or even technically, I'm not even going to go to Journey to the Center of Earth. Let's go to King Kong. The last King Kong movie that they had, it was King Kong versus Godzilla, right? They traveled through this hole. It was this giant hole. Traveled through the hole where the gravity to a certain point in time basically reversed, and then it, they had like a free fall, and then at a certain point the gravity kicked in to where they were going, and then they came out the other side, and you saw a whole nother environment, right? You saw mountains, you saw trees, you saw wildlife, you saw clouds, breathable air, and what else did you also see? You saw a sun. You saw a sun. So again, this is a video of China where they produced an artificial sun that lasted 17 minutes. A lot of people always state that a lot of the technology that we get is pretty much old. It's, we're pretty much any technology, let's say like, like 5G, 4G, we're like 20 years behind where the technology actually is, probably actually 50 or maybe 100 in some instances. So again, if this is what China is doing now, just think what was already previously, what's already been done. Like I said, this is pretty much child's play, right? So we got holograms that seem pretty much real to the left. And this is by way of the hologram technology and them putting, the haze or the smoke in the air so that the holograms can, be directly there. You've also had the whole other instance of, dead celebrities coming back to life by way of hologram technology, such as Tupac and many others. And those holograms were looking real. It was like, wow, that's some good tech. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And then there was Some other technology. I wish. Was it called Proteus? I think. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Um, let me see. Let me see. I wish I actually kept track of it. Um, because I don't think we're gonna be able to find it. Well, anyways, there's a somebody might know what I'm talking about, but there's a company I ran across it on YouTube about like a portion of half a year ago, and they have technology out there where, in a sense, you can put holograms in the home, right? So let's say I'm right here in front of you guys, right? Well, you can't see me because the camera's not on. But let's say instead of me being right here in front of you on the screen, let's say that you have a little small television screen, directly in front of you, like a little box. I would basically be able to transport myself, my image, in a hologram form, fully 3D hologram form, directly in front of you. So instead of me just appearing on a flat screen, I would appear in hologram form directly in your home by way of that technology. This is technology that they have right now, that they are also plan on using, let's say for the future of like concerts. That's one of the things that they pitched. They were like, hey, it'd be great, just think about celebrities having an in-person, type of meeting, with fans, right? So let's say if a fan is all the way in South Korea, right? But the artist that they want to see, they may be in Germany, right? Or they may be in Canada. They can pretty much just turn on that tech and they can just appear directly in front of that person or those people. They've also stated that this would be another way for, let's say, families of long distances um, to be able to see one another, right? So they have a lot of implications that they could use with this technology that they have stated and or pitched. Um, Another piece of technology that we have out here that is actually working at this moment in time are the AI robots that are doing janitorial work. They have AI robots that are clear cut able to have a what is it? They have a map that is downloaded, given to the robots, and they basically read the room. They read the bathroom, right? So they have the schematics of the bathroom. They have like their spray tools, their cleaning, whatever they have to sit up here and do. So they pretty much just go around. They spray like the stalls. They clean the sinks. They clean the toilets. They also clean the floors, and they're out of there. They're also programmed to monitor and keep track of the chemicals that they use. And if they're out of chemicals, they'll go back and refresh those if need be. So again, this is me just putting these things directly out there because these are things that don't really um, get talked about, right? And I feel like technically doing it in a live stream like format, maybe it might be a little bit better versus doing it in a video format because I've done quite a few of these videos and to no avail, because pretty much YouTube has done a very outstanding job of making sure to keep my platform shadow banned so that I can't even reach, a good percentage of, the people that are subscribed directly to the channel. David said, anyone remember the McDonald's restaurant that's run by AI? Yeah, yeah, I did a video on that. Yep. And the funniest thing that you mentioned that is that I brought up videos before and it dealt with people who were fighting, right? You had workers, and I'm pretty sure you might have seen some of these videos as well, some of you guys in the chat, where you will see people who are working at these jobs and they decide that, hey, I want to start fighting at the job, right? I want to start an altercation at the job, right? Your place of work where you get your paycheck every 2 weeks, right? When you work your 8 hours, you want to start a fight here. And the main thing that I wanted to do when highlighting those videos, I was trying to send a warning out to people. I was telling them like, yo, um, people wonder why it is that they don't want to hire black people, or people wonder why it is why it's so hard to actually get hired or find a job. This is why a lot of companies are going to start going to robots, because you have too many human beings that want to do the things that they're not supposed to do. You're paid to represent a company, and because you're representing that company and that brand, they're enabling you to work there to have a living wage. But a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really care about the wage. It's on site. I'm just going to do whatever it is that I want to do. So this is why you have a lot of businesses that have they got the brand new technology with the robots now, where they can flip burgers. They don't need nobody to do nothing. They have an automated system where the frozen burgers are inserted, and then the robot flips them to perfection. Like I said, you have human error where people sometimes they'll just burn it, or the order just don't come out right. Well, guess what? With that robot, that order is going to come out right, and it's pretty much going to come out right. More than likely, 99. I put it at 98% of the time that order will be right. And guess what? There's no arguing at the counter, at the register. There's not going to be any arguing at the drive-through either, because you got robots that can, as soon as your order is made, it's packaged and it's given directly to you. So all of that nonsensical madness where you see videos of TikTok and IG and YouTube of people want to argue with the cashier, they want to argue at the drive-through, people want to climb through the drive-through to try to get sauce and all. It ain't none of that. It ain't none of that, because no human being is about to be arguing with a robot that doesn't even have a face, because you're going to look stupid at the end of the day. And then you're going to have a lot of people that are doing these standard issue mediocre jobs. You're going to have a lot of people crying because they don't have any other type of skill set in order to make a livable wage, in order to monetize and make direct money off of their being. And then those same people who are not going to be able to get a job, who didn't play catch up, who didn't decide to go out there and figure something else out, they're going to be out of a living wage, out of a home, out of a car, out of a job. They're pretty much going to be on the streets. And you know what that means? That means that a lot of those people are now going to be looking to be feeding off of the system of unemployment, because they're not going to be able to find a job because they don't have the skill set. Because a lot of people feel that they don't need to have a certain skill set in order to work. But people are going to learn one way or another. And this is the main thing that I told people: technology is advancing. It's sort of still in its infancy, but it's not really crawling anymore. It's walking, it's stumbling, it's starting to get its legs. So now is the time where people, again, the videos that I've stated and the things that I've put out to people before, now is the time for a lot of people and a lot of parents to start putting their kids into schools that deal with electronics, that deal with programming, that deal with robotics. Computers are the future. I'm trying to. Your car is pretty much a computer. If at any point in time that the electricity were to go out, guess what? Your car ain't working. Unless you got a car that was made before they started inserting chips, your car is not working. They've showed you this in a lot of movies, where if some type of event basically took place, let's say like an EMP or whatever it is, everybody's car is pretty much done for. The only way your car is working is if it does not have a chip in it. That's pretty much the only way that is working. So, you're gonna have a lot of people that's gonna be lost. Oh, George said, use your likeness like facial recognition. Yeah, 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 yeah. Facial recognition. Like I said, I'm a tech type of guy. One of my favorite Marvel characters is Tony Stark, and the reason is due to the fact that he's a futurist. He can see he's looking like 30 to 50 plus years in the future, while everybody else is just looking at tomorrow. That's how I'm looking at everything. And I can see how a lot of this stuff is going to be vastly different. Like some of the animes that I've watched, let me see if I can get let me see. Oops. See if I can get an image. Some people might know what this is, some people might not. If I can get the correct image, um, I use this, whatever. It's a. I was trying to actually get like a different image to really showcase what it is, but this right here is going to be this is it's an anime, Sword Art Online. So let me just give you like a short little little run. So basically, Sword Art Online takes place in a future where the technology is pretty great, right? So they have these this headgear that everybody in a sense bought. Everybody ran out there to get it because it was a brand new, fresh game coming out. So you basically put on the headgear and you go into this metaverse, right? The same exact thing that they're working on right now, the metaverse, right? So you go into this metaverse where you can play, in a sense, a living version, of the game, right? Um, but the problem that took place is that once you put on that headgear, it was programmed to, in a sense, keep you there, right? So your body is however you're sitting. So you could have been in a chair or you could have been lying down. You're directly in uh, uh, that reality. Now, I might have got my animes a little bit mixed up because it has been a minute since I've watched Sword Art Online. But a lot of these animes that deal with like online type of stuff, with deals with like VR, the metaverse, they pretty much have like the same, type of like thing. And the thing that ended up taking place, if I remember correctly, was that if you actually died in the game, you died in real life, right? That was something that took place, or at least it took place in some of the other animes that I watched that dealt with like VR, the metaverse, and different things of that nature. And you also had a game creator, right? Uh, let me see. Yeah, let me snap this for you, right? So let me just let y'all know, so y'all can see what it is that I'm talking about. Like I said, this technology it's not a game. It is not a game at all. Like you got this right here, just so that you'll know what I'm talking about. Let me actually, because I'll just keep Sword Art as the anime reference, and then I'll put this directly up there, right? So let me just minimize these sides here, and this is from last year, right? Oculus Rift founder claims to make a VR headset that will actually kill you if you die in the game. So just think about that. You have a game creator just off of a whim was like, hey, let me see if I can actually do it. Let's create something where if the gamer is actually in there and they suffer lethal damage and their character dies, they'll actually die in real life. Think about that. Think about that, right? So then let me give you another example. Let me see if I can get the actual. Is that a better picture? Wait, let me see. Did I? Yeah, that might be a better picture right there. Nah, 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 nah. That picture sucks. I'm really trying to. Is that a better one? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a better one. All right. So let me give you another game. This is some. I still haven't finished this game, but it's a pretty good game. I actually like it. But that is besides the point, right? So this is a game that came out on Xbox. It's called Hi-Fi Rush, right? So in this game that they have this what is it called? What is it called? They have this company. Every one of these games always has like this evil company, right? So they got this like this evil company, right? And they enable people to, in a sense, have powers, right? By way of like robotics. And depending on the type of robotics that you get, it will divvy out the type of job that you will be taking on. So the main character that you see, the white kid with the arm with the little red band with the red shoes, he originally was detailed for garbage, right? Pretty much they were deeming him like worthless. He was cleaning up trash. That's all it was. A mistake ended up happening where the old iPod that he had, the MP3 player that he had, when they were going to attach the machinery directly to him, the music got attached to his chest, right? So that drastically changed specifically how his arm, in a sense, worked. So this is why the corporation is after him, because they figure him as a defect, right? And all this other type of stuff. But that's besides the point. The main thing about the corporation is that they're enabling and giving people all of these robotics, in a sense, for free, but at a price at which they don't understand. So the girl that you see directly to the right of him, that is, his partner in crime. She been following the company for quite some time, read through the files and the programming. She figured out that they can send a signal directly to your robotics in order to control your whole body, right? And that's unbeknownst to everybody that has, these parts. She's not affected because her robotics, I think either she designed them herself or they're from a whole different time. But in order to make her statement believable, she hooked him up to the computer and she allowed him to talk like normal. He was like, yeah, I don't believe this, yada, yada, yada. She basically turned on the signal and he turned into a straight robot, fully being able to be controlled. Anything she wanted him to say, he would basically say and or do it, right? So again, you can include all of these things as a part of predictive programming. A lot of the things, again, it's not for the adults. It's not for in order to really get the adults into it. It's for everybody else. It's for the younger ones, right? It's for your children. It's for your teenagers. It's for those who are in like their early 20s, right? That's who it's for. And that, again, that's what I'm trying to make a lot of people understand. A lot of adults, I'm trying to help y'all catch up to see what it is that they're doing out here, how it is that they're trying to pre-program a lot of the kids, making a lot of these things acceptable, making them cool, so that kids aren't going to second guess these things once they're actually implemented. Once something similar actually takes place, people are like, oh well, it's this that, the third, it's whatever it is. People are just pretty much going to have a nonchalant attitude. Nobody's really on the aspect of having critical thinking, right? Because it used to be a point in time where we would question a lot of the things that we get. Like if somebody wanted to give us something that seems expensive for free, it's like, yo, what's attached to this? Where the strings at? Like, what do I have to give back? And when it deals with a lot of these corporations, it might be your life, it might be your willpower, it might be your health, it might be everything. So again, predictive programming. A lot of this stuff is directly out here. I know predictive programming is pretty strong because, again, my favorite example that I love using. Let me see if I can find a picture of the old man here. Let me see. Let me show you my. This was my guy. I wanted to be just. Oh wait, they don't got him with the. Yeah. It's the good picture right me show you that. Put that predictive programming directly up there. That's how they almost got me. About to be a smoker. This was my guy right here. This was like my favorite guy in the whole world. You couldn't tell me nothing. Camel Joe, son. I wanted to be like Camel Joe. Camel Joe had the girls. He had, nice clothes, and he was always looking cool, and he was smoking. This is how, the predictive programming works. They work on, subtleties, right? So what's the easiest way to get past, what it is that parents are teaching their kids at home? Use cartoons. Use cartoons. Use animation. Use something that parents wouldn't even really give a second look at. And the main thing that I would always tell a lot of parents is that if you were around during the time, let's say like the 90s, or even sometimes in certain gas stations or liquor stores now, if you see them with a counter, and y'all know what I'm talking about, one of those thick counters, and below it, they have all the posters. Those posters were never meant for adults because adults were never that high. They specifically placed that advertisement. There is psychological advertisement. They specifically placed that advertisement there because kids are normally at that height. That's ground level pretty much. So they know that a child that's like, in a stroller, 3, 4, 5, 6, they pretty much know they can't see above the counter. So they give them something to look at, something that they're going to grow to like over time because they're going to keep consistently seeing it. The more and more that you see something, the more and more that you're going to like it. Case in point, you can, right now, you're listening to this live stream. You're not even hungry, but magically an advertisement might happen to come on for some Chick-fil-A, for some Sonic, for some Subway, some Crystals, for Jack in the Box, whatever it is. And you're still not hungry. But the more and more you keep seeing that advertisement keep showing up, you're like, man, I could really go for that. Yo, that burger really starting to look good. Man, I'm hungry. You know what? I could make a midnight run. So that's how they do it. That's how they do it. This is how they got a lot of generations out here drinking early because they introduced it in a lot of television shows that we watched, even as children. You will see kids play around and act as though that they're drinking and all this other type of stuff. Or maybe you might watch some TV shows where the theme might be a little bit more mature. It's still on daytime television, but it's technically meant for adults. It's adult comedy, stuff of that nature. And what do you see? You normally see adults what? Drinking, smoking, their inhibitions are low. They're doing a variety of things. So as a child, as a kid, the more and more that you start to see this in entertainment, you're going to want to act this out. You're going to want to seek this out. You're going to want to do the exact same things that you see the characters that you like so much doing. And this is why I sit up there and tell parents you got to monitor and watch every single thing that you allow your kids to watch. You got to listen to all of the music that you allow your kids to listen to, because these are the things that my mom did for me. And this is part of the reason that I don't smoke. Well, actually, I've never smoked. Let me just put it, don't matter if it's marijuana or cigarettes, never. I've never taken a drink ever in my life. So that means I've never, drank at underage or even at a legal age, right? Never had any type of sense of a DUI or, in a sense, a longing to sit up there and try a variety of other things. Never sat up there and did it. And that was because a lot of stuff was, in a sense, caught early. And this is because a lot of things were taught in the home, which carried over to me being out in the real world. So my mom didn't have to worry about me like going to college parties or going to friends parties or friends houses and potentially being tempted and all this other type of stuff. I still got friends to this day that ask me like, yo, Seji, when you want to take a drink with me, when you gonna? I'm like, yeah, maybe when I'm 40, maybe when I'm ready. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that for over like 20 plus years that I've been sitting up there saying this. I just keep moving it up a decade. It's like I do it when I'm 50. I do it when I'm 60. Because realistically for me, I don't really plan on, doing it, anytime soon. I don't really see a benefit. If I want to do it, it'll be because I actually want, to do it. It's something there where it's like, all right, well, maybe I like the scent of, this cigar, or whatever it is, right? But that's because I want to do it. It's not because of the influences of the media, television, celebrity, friends, family, peer pressure, whatever it is. Not because of any of that. It's because something I solely want to do. And that's how I pretty much go about a lot of things. But anyways, off of that, again, to a lot of the parents and a lot of the guardians directly out here, it is imperative, it is very important that you are in your children's lives as much as possible, because it makes a world of a difference. I'm standing up here as an example to let you know it makes a world of a difference. I'm not telling you that you got to be your kid's, best friend, but if your kid, likes watching, some of the shows on Nickelodeon or whatever it is, like, yo, watch the shows with them, have conversations, talk about it, right? Because then when in a sense you're in that same area as like that child, you can start to break down, right, the concepts of a lot of these shows. You can break down a lot of these jokes and a lot of these innuendos. And trust me, a lot of these cartoons and these shows, they have a lot of innuendos that are hidden directly in them on purpose, because the adults that make them were once kids. So in a sense, they're making them for themselves, right? They're that adult, but they're still that kid inside. And as that kid inside, they want to also make something that the other kids, aka the adults, would also like as well. So this is why a lot of us, we like The Simpsons, um, Family Guy, right? Those are pretty much the standard issue shows. Before those, you had like the Beavis and Buttheads, and and all of that. What was it? Uh, King of the Hill. Uh, 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 it was like a few other. It was a lot of adult themed cartoon shows like Rocko's Modern Life, and that was on Nickelodeon. That was an adult themed show. Again, let me give a point of reference here. Let me see. Let me see. Um, Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern Life. Do 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 do. I wish I could actually get. Um, I think that might be probably the best one. Just to have. Let me go to another one here. Let me put this directly up here. Gotta give you that point of reference. Wait a minute. Did I not download the image? Oh, you gotta be kidding me right now. Hold on. I didn't. Okay, I did it wrong. There we go. If anybody remembers the original, I'm not sure what they might have done for uh, the newer version of it, but the original version of Rocco's Modern Life, he was a how to say this in a different way. He was an adult operator. That's the best way I could sit up there and put it. Like that's in a sense like where he worked. If you listen to like some of the episodes and some of the things that were being said and all this other type of stuff, yeah, yeah. This dude was working on one of those hotlines. Um, there were some other adult themes as well, dealing with like Mr. and Mrs. Big Head and Heifer, and and all this other type of stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of innuendos and stuff directly in cartoons. Again, predictive programming. It's another way to get towards children, to get directly past whatever the teachings are at home. It's a way to get past the morals as well, because nobody's going to be really looking at a cartoon and be like, oh yeah, they're really trying to brainwash kids and yada yada. No, they are. They are. They are. I can promise you. Case in point, look at the generation right now. Look at the generation and all of the different types of flags. Look at all the different types of flags that they have. I've never at a point in time in my life seen a generation where it just seems like everybody is just a part of one group. This the generation that we have right now, this young generation, it almost seems as if all of them are a part of the rainbow society. And I'm like, how did that happen? I'm like, nobody's thinking about this. Nobody's trying to, you know, really ponder. Nobody's really trying to think about this. Now, I can tell you there's a multitude of things that stem directly from it. One of which is cartoons, because they had cartoons directly out there that pushed a certain narrative, that pushed certain things directly onto children, certain types of thoughts directly on to children, making them question certain things, making certain things okay, and all these, other types of things. Then you had, different types of like movies and television shows that would insert certain types of ideologies and beliefs directly in there, and they were specifically pointed towards kids, pointed towards teenagers. Like I said, I've seen a lot of these things. Like I thought it was something uh, just really dealing with Disney and searching, into a lot of that stuff. But the stuff that they got now, whew, it's tough. It's tough. Yo, K5, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? David said, I'm in my early 20s and well aware of what's going on. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's the way to be. Always, stay thinking about a lot of stuff. Even if it seems like you don't need to question it, you should still question it. Because you always have to try to wonder and figure out who is the creator of what it is that you are watching. Who is the writer of what it is that you are watching? Again, who are the actors? Like, do all of these people have the same beliefs? Are they into the same things? Are they trying to pass forth the same types of ideology? And another thing that people got to understand is that a lot of these television shows, they hire psychologists to look at these shows, because they can read a lot of these things. Again, it's about the advertisers. They're advertising, certain things, certain types of ideologies, right? So there's a psychological game at work, in order to dive directly into the mind and break through certain barriers so that that message can be imprinted, and it'll stay there, and it'll just replay over and over and over and over and over again, right? So this is yet again another way to get a child to believe a lie, right? If you basically repeat, that lie so much, it'll become believable. It'll become fact. It will become true. And this is, pretty much where we are at this moment in time. This is pretty much where we are at this moment in time. And that I'm not even touching on the school system yet, because that's a whole nother aspect where you have teachers that really should not be teaching children, that are going above and beyond what they are supposed to be doing as a teacher. They're trying to overstep bounds of parents. They're trying to overrule and override the teachings and the moral compass that has already been instilled by the parents. And they're able to do it due to the fact that they're able to spend so much time with kids. If you technically think about it, teachers spend, if a student is going to school like they should, a teacher technically spends more time with kids than parents. A lot of parents don't even know at this moment in time, a lot of parents don't even know who their child's best friend is. They might not even, really know the differences in what their child is now versus what they used to be when they were 10. They might be on some old information. Like, oh yeah, I know your favorite color. I know this. That could have just drastically changed. They're teenagers now. You can't say that you still know who they are. They're still finding out who they are. They're still going through and changing from day to day and all this other type of stuff. And then add on top of the fact that you now have adults that are interacting with these kids and they're telling them certain things and teaching them certain things. So it's almost at a point in time now more than any other time that it's pretty much impossible for a parent to actually know who their child is because the child is getting hit with bombarded with so many messages. Hack said, "Gotta go, Pastor M." Ah, got you. All right, have a good night, sir. Have a good night. David said, "Agents everywhere." These are straight bars. Straight 1000% bars. I'm just going through the comments real quick to try to catch up with some of y'all. What we got? We got Big Hawk, yo, what is up? What is up? Much love and appreciation. Again, let me see. So let me see. Shout out to George, David, Jeremy, give him hell. Hack, even though I know Hack is gone. Stardust. Who else we got up in here? Miss Yvette, MD Williams. Who else we got up in here? Slide Jones, and I think that's all we got. But again, yo, for anybody, we got like 27 people in here. If you want to add to the conversation, ain't no problem. Write something in, uh, uh, the comment section. If you got anything to add to some of the things that I have, been going directly over, because sometimes I will get to the point where it almost be like diarrhea of the mouth, and I'm just talking and I'm just going all over the place with, talking points and all this other type of stuff. So, feel free, if you want to say something in the comment section to, add to the conversation. David said these next couple of years is going to be intense. Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I mean, realistically, I'm more so like excited. Like I'm not really like in a state of like fear or being terrified or anything like that. Because I at least have somewhat of an understanding of what's going to transpire, what's going to happen. Um, I'm just waiting to see if everything that I know I can make that work and I can just fit. I can just move, directly. I can surf with every and any wave that's going to come forth, right? So it's like for me, I'm just anxious. I'm just that's my whole reason. I'm just hyped. Like I've seen a lot of other people where it's like, oh, it's doom and gloom. It's the end of this. It's the end of that. I'm just looking at stuff as like a brand new beginning. Yvette said, great live. Said you off to work. Everyone enjoy your day. Again, much love and appreciation. Shout out to any and everybody here. Good morning or good night, depending on where you are. Not sure if you are on the night shift or the morning shift or just getting home, but I'm happy that you're here. Not sure how you find this stream, but I'm happy that you found it. Have some breakfast, relax, or get ready for, the start, of your day and different things of that nature. Um, but yeah, back to the whole thing of dealing with let me see, let me just highlight that. Yeah, it's like I'm hyped for it. I'm pretty much hyped for the future. I'm waiting for it. Um, because it's funny. It's like once you way back in 2012, when I started looking at and researching and trying to understand a lot of stuff, it's funny that when you get inundated with information that you never had before, it's like an overwhelming sensory overload. Like it's the craziest thing. Like some people might understand, what I'm talking about, but it's like it's the weirdest thing possible. It's like your whole mind, your whole body just becomes like overly sensitive to like everything. It's almost like you got a spider sense and you don't know how to control it. It's like that like type of deal. And then it's like once you keep basically reading and researching and stuff like that, it starts to, in a sense, get into a calm type of mode where it's more of a controlled, autonomous, type of deal. Where it's like it's not so much that you're in a sense like freaking out or fearful directly about it. But it's like if you see something, your spider sense is going on, right? So you can look at a picture, you'll see like certain things, like maybe it might be like some symbols, maybe it might be a handshake, maybe it might be a painting, something like that. It's like your brain will automatically just like, bam, it's like everything now is clicking, everything is now linking together, and and different stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty much I'm amped. I'm pretty excited for the future. I really am. Like I'm not stuck on the doom and gloom aspect. Like I said, I know a lot of stuff that's happening directly, right now, but as which is with every single year, everything passes. It wasn't that long ago that we all thought that we were going to be at World War III with Iran. Was it Syria or Iran? I forgot. It was back when they had Trump in office, and a missile or predator drone, whatever it was, it ended up hitting a high-ranking official in either Iran or Syria, whichever area it was. And everybody thought, like, we just thought it was like, yep, it's over now. Like we are really about to be, going to work, because they just decided to do this. And look where we are, 2023, and now we're back again, where everybody's like, yeah, we might go to war with Russia, we might be going to war with Korea, we might be going to war with China. It's like people are just saying stuff. So then you got the United States government feeding into it. It was like, yeah, I predict within about 4 to 5 years we're going to be at war with China. Why would you want to predict that? Why not state that, yo, I predict in 4 to 5 years that, our military technology is going to be outstanding? Why not say that? Or why not predict that, yo, 4 to 5 years, the United States is going to be highly technologically advanced? But you want to predict war. Nobody profits from war but the people who start war, the people who started and the people who end it, right? And then the other people that profit off of war are the people that make caskets, the people that dig graves, and the hospitals. The other people after that make money off of the war are the drug companies, the people that produce the weapons and the ammunitions, the body armors, the tank, and all this other type of stuff. Like I said, everybody who is in control of something profits off of war. Us, we don't profit off of nothing. We don't profit off of nothing. Living or dying, everybody will profit directly off of you, right? Kane said, excuse me. Kane said, "Thank you. Caught the end, but thank you." And it's funny you say sensory overload. This is happening now at 51. Yeah, like I said, it's never too late, and to in a sense learn something new, or to gain new insight on information or anything like that. The main way that I've always tried to go about life is that go as like a child or like a newborn. In a sense, I would say in a sense, yeah, child or a newborn, because their minds are like sponges. Like literally anything that they look at, they're automatically just like staring at it. They're trying to like figure it out. Their brains are trying to like wrap around it. It's trying to like absorb it. It's trying to figure it out. That's the way that I feel that every adult, like once you start hitting 30, that's the way that you should try to be mentally every single day. Because if you can do that, if you can hone in on that, and you can keep that up, you then will outbeat a lot of other adults when it comes to, okay, this new technology came out, this new program came out, these new computers are coming out, learning a brand new language, no matter if it's programming or if it's an actual language like Mandarin, um, Arabic, what is it, German, or whatever it is. It'll allow you, to understand it a lot faster and easier versus a lot of adults out here, because they always state that as you get older, it's more difficult for you to learn a language and to retain that information. This is why they always state that, yo, if you want to learn language, or if you want your kids to learn language, teach them when they're young, because they're going to absorb it a lot quicker. Versus adults, it's like, all right, I know something What? Hajime Mashite, Domo Arigato, Ohio Gozaimasu. Like I said, you'll know certain things. You'll remember certain things. Now, if I wanted to try to speak a full-fledged sentence in Japanese, not at this time. Maybe, high school wise, I could have probably, got by with some stuff. I can still see some things, but I can tell you I'm not writing in hiragana or katakana at this moment in time. I'm not doing it. Um, so it's like, yeah. Miss Carter said, yes, childlike, exactly. I'm a newborn baby. Yep. I'm actually learning 3 different languages. I downloaded an app and I've been doing this straight for 180 days. That's good. That's pretty good. Um, you might need some other reinforcement. Like, I'll tell you this, because you'll learn like 3 different languages. I know that some languages are pretty similar speaking wise to other languages. So the pronunciations and whatnot kind of like roll over, which is kind of cool and weird at the same time. I would say to like reinforce everything that you're learning, just start writing like sentences, like basic, everyday, sentences, or maybe some words from the dictionary and, stuff like that, so that it'll really stick. Because one of the things that was helping me out when I was learning the language was that I had a partner. So you have somebody that you can like talk to. It's almost better if you have somebody of that language to talk to, because it'll heavily reinforce the learning and the teachings that you're taking in. Um, but yeah, the programs that they have are actually pretty dope. Um, when I used to take long trips, I would have a a video for YouTube, and I think was it teach me how to Spanish? I think it was. I forgot what it was, but if I had like a 13-hour trip, I would just have that on repeat. It might probably be like a 2 or like a 3 hour video. I would just have that thing on repeat. I'm not sure if I retained anything realistically, but I do know that when I have some coworkers, um, that their primary language is Spanish, and English really ain't technically their secondary, but they can kind of like pass with it a little bit. If they speak like broken English, I can understand them. Certain words in Spanish, I can understand. I can kind of get like the gist of it if I follow like the body language and how it is that the person is like talking, which is weird. But like the broken English, I can pretty much get that. Even if they say like a little bit of English here and then they're speaking, whatever language that they have, I can somewhat like get it and stuff like that. But so yeah, you know, yeah. But yes, yes, yes. But much love and appreciation to learning a new language. Hey, we got the Jelmo. What is up? What is up? P said your question though on Japan announcing they will pour radioactive waste water from Fukushima into the sea and ocean. Ooh, that's not good. Well, get prepared to have Godzilla at some point in time, because that is going to happen. Let me see. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me see that. Let me see something. Okay, I see that from like 2021. Let me see. And they say 170 million in the United States drink radioactive tap. Wait, what? That's crazy. Hold on. Let me read that real quick. Oh, that's from another source though. Oh, Let me see. Micronesia drops protest over release of Japanese radioactive water. Oh, whew, that's not good. Japan insists release of 1.3 million tonnes of treated water is safe. Man, look here. All I can sit up there and tell you is whenever they release it, that water, if they happen to do like the satellite imagery, or if they can happen to do a what is it called? Not a test. Uh, if they can run a simulation, because they like running simulations on a lot of things. If they run a simulation on that water and basically the spread, it's not going to take that long for it to reach the United States. It's not going to take that long. And it's going to be directly all up the coast. I'm talking about directly from Alaska, all the way down more than likely to, California and past California. Like that whole area is hit, which means that all of the water life there is going to be radiated. Now, what they like to do is like, all right, the water is radiated, but it's a safe radiated levels, right? So, Japan is like, hey, the water is safe that we're about to release. They have certain types of levels of radiation that are okay, that are acceptable for human consumption. That's all they're basically saying. It's like that's why it's safe. Because if it was radioactive, nah, that's you would probably have like the world government. I'm sorry, not. I'm thinking somewhere else right now. You would have the UN. Technically, I might as well call them the world government, but you will have like the UN basically stating some stuff, stepping in like, "Yo, Japan, you can't be doing this." No, no, this is not a good look. It's not a good look. But it's like the thing that you got to think about is like it's crazy for them to, in a sense, do it because the waters that they were the waters in which they're releasing this radiated water in, these are the same exact waters of which they fish in. Remember, Japan is waterlocked, so they can dish out all of that radiated water in some way, shape, or form, or given some time, is going to end up encapsulating and encircling the waters of Japan. That's what's going to end up happening. So it's crazy to think that you're willing to actually do that. Or maybe they think it is realistically safe enough because they are going to be the first ones that's going to get hit by this water. Everybody else is going to get hit later, right? So I don't know. That's something. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, Godzilla. They keep showing you how that happened. It was the atomic bomb, right? And we have bombs in a sense go off, in Japan. The most interesting thing, I wish I had that picture. There was a Japanese man that actually survived both of the bombings. Both of the bombs that the United States set off in Japan. One man survived both of them. If he has kids, they have to be immortal. Let me tell you something. They have to be immortal. For you to literally escape one blast, like you were there, you got hit, you escaped that blast completely fine. You somehow, some way, after being thrown in the air, ended up directly on your head, you run and get on a train and you make it right on time for the next one to hit, and you survive that. That man is immortal. Can't nobody tell me no different. Like I said, I feel like you got immortal people that are directly on this planet. That man is one of them. I've never heard of anybody else on this planet that has survived two nuclear bombs and lifted, telebody and still walking. Like you got some people, you got one dude that put his hand into the Hadron Collider, and was it the Hadron Collider? No, 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 no. What did that dude do? It was some type of like radiation experiment, and the dude ended up getting so much radiation that I think he died like a week later. Like it's something crazy. Like from a lot of these people that have done radioactive like experiments and they have died, but this dude survived two nuclear bombs and he's still alive, old age and everything, walking with a cane. That man is immortal. Can't nobody tell me different. Yo, Ghost Walker, what is up? Ghost said, yo, said you, what's up? What do you think about alternative sources of energy? Because I think we're just using reserves of oil now and the electric on the rise, but with America's infrastructure, I don't see it. Let me see if I can pull something up for you. Let me see if I can pull up this story. All right, so how many people we got? We got like 20 some people here. So this is for a lot of you guys that might not know what the future is going to, in a sense, entail, right? So this is to help out some of y'all that might know about stocks and different things of that nature. Uh, Again, this is why the future is great. It has a lot of opportunities for a lot of people if they happen to pay attention. So this is to go to what the brother was stating about alternative sources, right? So, like I said, I'm not even gonna read the article. I'm just gonna give y'all just the bit of information that you need. The EU, right? Europe bans sales of new gas powered cars by 2035. So that's already telling you where the future is going to be at. They're already telling you where the future is going to be at. Europe is going to ban the sales of gas powered cars by 2035. That is not that far from now. That's not that far from now. Just think about that. Just think about that. So if the EU is going to do this, what does that then mean for the United States, Canada, and so on and so on and so on? Like I said, the future is a. I'm not even going for me. I'm not even going to say it's like a scary thing. It's more of like an energetic. It's an amped type of thing. So the reason why I'm telling y'all this is that if you, in a sense, invest in stocks, this would be a great time to start investing into electric stocks. Anything dealing with electric cars, meaning the people that produce the chips, um, the car companies, whatever it is, you might want to start doing that now because that means that there's going to be an uptick. There's going to be huge money going directly into it. So you got Tesla. Remember, at one point in time during the pandemic and during this year, Tesla was low. And then Tesla started going back up. A lot of people started waving off Tesla. Oh, Tesla ain't this, Tesla ain't that. Just wait till the future. Like I said, Elon Musk ain't looking at a now, right? He's looking at the end game, right? He's not looking at the now. He's looking at the end game. The end game is getting to that 2030 era where they're trying to make a lot of things electric. Remember, I brought y'all a story before where Biden is trying to, the Biden administration, they want to get rid of gas stoves. They want to have electric. They stated it was for health reasons, which is BS. But they want to get rid of gas stoves and they want to have electric stoves. So just think about that. That's now more appliances that are going to be electric. We got refrigerators, of course, but now you got stoves. Think of how many homes that you have in the United States of America. And think about how many gas stoves would have to be produced, going from the chips to the steel to the tempered glass to the electric copper wiring, all of that. So that means all of those companies you can basically start putting money into, and you're going to reap all of that back pretty soon. Like I said, don't think about the short term. You got to people. A lot of people got to start thinking long term. You got to be there for the long haul. Like I said, if people are only, somewhere for short money, then that short money, easy come, easy go. But if you, in a sense, are there for the long haul, meaning that you planted a seed, you're watering that seed, you're sheltering that seed, you're taking care of that seed, you're making sure that, it's, the tree or whatever is growing upright. So, you got rope and whatever it is, making sure that it's growing upright, it's not, curving and all this other type of stuff. Your tree is going to grow into an adult and is going to bear fruit, or it's going to start to bear flowers. It's going to do either which one of those things, or in some instances, depending on the type of tree, it'll do both. But you pretty much get my point. This is the point in time right now that people should start investing money into these electric stocks. Just start really sitting up there doing it, doing your research. Like I said, don't just do it because I told you to. But I'm saying do your research so that you're knowledgeable, right? And then once you become knowledgeable, start teaching your friends, informing your friends, right? Spread that information around so that, you'll have more people in your circle that will be, a part of the exact same pot, and everybody's, growing and getting money, together. Um, Let me see. David said, how many people do you think Elon Musk killed with Neuralink? I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. I know, when it comes to a lot of technologies, there's going to be a lot of sacrifices. Just think about all of the advancements that we've made ever in technology. People had to, in a sense, die in order for it to get to where it is, which is sad. Which is, but that's the way that everything goes. Think about, let's say, like the diamond mining or the mining for, important minerals and resources, where you got men that, go into the depths of the earth in caves, where they gotta like lay on their stomach and transport, through these cave systems to dig for stuff that we use every day for our electronics. And you have a lot of tunnels that collapse every single day. You got a lot of tunnels that collapse. So that's how I look at it. It's in a sense like a necessary evil. You know, um, but we can circumvent that by doing things differently. But in order for us to do things differently, society would have to be different. Meaning that the big money ruling class, they in a sense wouldn't be there, or at least their mentality would have to be vastly different. But we all know that that's not going to happen. So this is where we are. The Jelmo said, Alaska. I am now wary of eating fish, especially wild salmon from Alaska. Yeah, yeah, it's it's tough. I'm a salmon and a tuna, type of guy. First it was mercury, now it's radiation. Let me go into another one for you. Let me see. Um, Let me see. I know I spelled that wrong. Yeah, like this right here. Let me just put this up here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, like this right here, right? Yeah. This is where we are at this moment in time, guys. Yeah, I never thought in my life. I never thought in my life that I would see something like that or even hear of it. It's crazy. It is completely crazy. Wait, what? Sea assault. Seaspiracy shows 30,000 sharks killed in hour. Salmon with chlamydia and savory sea. Yeah, so I don't know how this works. Like I don't know how this works. Like this is that's crazy. Like so I guess that's gonna be the new thing for guys. If they get caught with something, it's like, yo, man, they end up, sleeping with a girl without protection. It's like, yeah, I got this because, I primarily am a pescatarian. I ate fish and I caught that from like the fish I ate last night. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. Oh boy, the wild tales that are going to be told, during this timeline. Crazy. The Jomo said, let me see, let me go back down. Let me see. Miss Carter said, that's crazy. Ghost said, I know that. I'm saying I don't see the infrastructure for it. The battery charge stations alone look like it will cripple us. We're bigger than most countries. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Ghost says, Seji, a grid goes out, and then what? I can't go to work. I mean, technically, um, this is why you got like solar technology though. So you would be able to use like solar panels, right? It's in the area that I live in. Some houses over here actually have solar panels, and I advocated for solar panels for people to, in a sense, if you're a homeowner, I had advocated for people to, get solar panels because what people got to understand is it is an upfront cost, for some years. But it starts as soon as it's installed, it immediately starts paying off. And depending on, in some instances, if you're keeping track of how much energy you're pulling, I mean, not pulling, how much energy you're producing and stuff, you might have some instances where, you're doing bigger numbers than what you technically should be, given the amount of sun, that is putting out. The other thing too is the power that you produce, it gets pushed directly back to the grid, which is, the dope part. So, you're making money, right? You're in a sense saving money, you're making money at the same time, and you're benefiting the grid. Ms. Carter said, I have stock in Tesla and made 1,000 off of 200. I have stocks in GameStop for my 30-year-old. Started off at 100. He's made 150 so far. You know what? I wish that y'all would have had those stocks in the early 2000s when GameStop went up to about, I think it was like $400. Let me tell you, y'all would have came off, depending on how many stocks y'all got, y'all would have came off pretty nice. You would have, that would have been a nice come up. That'd have been a nice bag because there was a black kid, a young black kid. I think I did a story on it, and he ended up getting his mom to put his money into GameStop. I think he came out with about like 40, was about like 40 grand or something like that. It was somewhere like 40 to maybe like close to like 100 grand. They came up like pretty nice. And that was due to the fact that the kid told his mom, like, yeah, I want you to invest, my birthday money, whatever it is, in GameStop. I want you to buy me some GameStop stock. And that's exactly what she did. They came off nice. So, I hope the same, for you guys as well. I hope like somehow, some way GameStop can fluctuate and go up and I can cash out and then buy the dip. Ghost said, and then the batteries, toxic waste. Bruh, I don't see it. A lot of time people get pumped about future tech and don't think about the environment around it. Well, see, the thing that I think, how I look at technology is that whatever we make, we can also recycle. So, yeah, the batteries are dangerous and, a lot of those other things, but we have the abilities and the technology to store the stuff and to figure out a way to reuse it. We can pretty much recycle a lot of stuff. The problem is we just don't want to. We've gotten like lazy. This is why the landfills look the way that they look. We had electric technology, way before the 60s. You know, I've seen other electric cars, far beyond the 70s. So we had the technology to do a lot of great and wondrous things. Like if we had electric cars back in the 60s and the 70s, the cars that we have now that are electric, it would have been vastly different. Matter of fact, I'll put it to you like this. If we would have started back in the 60s and the 70s doing electric cars, the power grid would actually be different. We would have actually, fixed and made a proper, infrastructure for the power grid so that it wouldn't be like a matchbox waiting to just get set on fire, you know? Um, so it's like even with the downsides of stuff, I'm still looking at, the positives. Trust me, I care about nature. I care about the environment. I really, really do. And I see how things can potentially go wrong, where they will go wrong, and how it is that we can fix and circumvent a lot of those issues. So, whatever it is that the companies won't do, everyday people would have to start up a company doing it. So, if there's not an area to really like safely keep, electric batteries, then somebody, an everyday person, has to come up with that company, right? Wherever there's a hole, there's somebody that can fill it. So, that's how I look at it. Miss Kane said in electric and waste management too. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ghost said, what about the African dude that invented the TV with no power cord? That's legit. Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that video. I saw that. You can do that. You know what? This is the funny part. Let me make sure to highlight this to give you all reference, right? So the funniest thing about this Ghost is that there are videos right now of kinetic engines, right? Which means that all you have to do is pretty much jump the engine and it will just continuously run. They have things like this around the world that are able to run electronics and also run your house. We have a lot of wondrous technology directly around. It's just hidden, right? One of my friends told me that Ford, I think it was like Ford or GM, one of them. But one of the big three, the big automotive three, they have a car that can run on any liquid. So Chanel number five, it can run on dish detergent, it can run on dishwashing liquid. Like pretty much anything you give it, the engine can run directly on it. And the reason why it was stated that the reason why it wasn't mass produced was due to the fact of that it wasn't cost effective. Um, they have a car, they have an engine that is theorized to basically run on thorium, right? Thorium, named after Thor, God of Thunder, all that good stuff, right? So they were stating that one piece of thorium would that okay, so you would have the engine that can run on thorium, right? They stated that that one engine can run on a piece of thorium for half a century. So again, we have the stuff out here to do the things that we need to do. But the problem with it is they can't find a way to profit off of it because it costs too much to produce. They would end up, quote unquote, losing more, right? Just producing it and trying to sell it versus, just let's say coming up with a standard issue car and just, gas oil, ethanol 20, or whatever it is, right? It's almost in a sense, I'll put it to you like this. It's like how PlayStation first came out with the PS3, and they sold it for about, like, I think it was like $600 or $700, but originally the PS3 was supposed to be $1,000. So Sony was losing out on hundreds of dollars every time they sold a PS3. They were in a deficit. They were in a deficit. This is for some of the gamers out there. The only reason that Sony is still a company right now after the PS3 is due to the fact of the PSP and also the PlayStation 2 that were selling during that time. Even when you had the other systems in PlayStation coming out, previous systems were the main reason that Sony was still making money. So, I mean, that's just my analogy for, the whole thing dealing with like cars, mass production, and that type of tech and whatnot. Go said anything non-Tesla invention level is a non-starter because you can't keep charging folks for energy. Humans still trying to make money off of that, and it's going to collapse us for real, for real. I mean, if it's not one thing, it's another. They'll just figure out another way to make money. I mean, that's all it is. That's all it is. There was a guy that I watched before. It was a white guy, and he was showing off the experiments that he did with sound. He was able to liquefy metal. He was able to levitate objects. Some objects they flew straight through the wall. Like he did a lot of stuff, and he did all of this with sound. So going back to the almost in a sense circling back, doing a 180. Going back to how art imitates life, life imitates art. If you technically go back and you think about Marty McFly, right? I still want my Air Mags. I'm not paying 16 grand for those. And I still want my hoverboard. If you go back and watch the film and listen to the hoverboard, you'll notice that every time they always show you technology and it's always making a certain type of sound. That's because they're using it's a different bits of technology in there, but they're also using sound in order to make the systems work. And sound within itself has a multitude of frequencies that can do a variety of things, even to the human brain. Sound can be used to heal, and sound can be used to hurt. Case in point, sometimes if you can happen to catch it when they have, like, in the EU, um, when people are having riots and different stuff like that, they'll use sound wave technology in order to make people sick, to make people run away, or to make people pass out. They got devices out there where you can use a frequency, tap somebody with that frequency, and it'll, make a involuntary reaction happen. So, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. I feel like I might have missed my point, but I was on point. Go say, oh yeah, anything else? Yeah. Go said they're going to have to release all natural energy tech because humans always have a hard time transitioning. This ain't no new TV in your home. It's easy. A lot won't make it if they won't throw out the blanket. I mean, true. There was another guy that I watched as well, where he used the stream. Like I've watched videos on like a lot of different like technologies. Trust me, I don't just stay on like negative stuff all day. Like I'm consistently like finding out technology and all this other type of stuff, right? So the one thing I do love is hydro electricity, right? I love hydro tech because it uses the natural movement of the water and the waves in order to produce electricity. Or you can even produce your own currents and different things of that nature. That's why, like, hydroelectric dams and different stuff of that nature. Like I said, it's clean technology. It's beautiful. Um, A guy that was living off grid had tore apart a very old washing machine, and he broke down the parts and he put them in certain areas of the stream. The main part that spins, where it's washing the clothes, he had that downstream so that the water would basically flow into it at an angle where it would cause it to spin, right? Automatically, in a sense, producing motion, producing kinetic energy. The kinetic energy would transfer through the wires into this other box, which then would produce the I guess the electricity, and then it would transfer that electricity further to like a little shack that he would have. So that would run anything from like maybe an electric tea kettle to a laptop, a few lights, a griddle, stuff of that nature. So there's a lot of ways to use nature in order to get things going. Greenland, for instance, is it Iceland or Greenland? Maybe it's Iceland. I forgot. But one of those areas, they use the thermal energy from the volcano and the underground heat vents that are there in order to produce electricity. Like I said, completely clean energy. Ain't nothing getting wasted. Ain't nothing missing. But for whatever reason, we don't tend to do that here, which is crazy. The funniest thing is, even though, I wouldn't want them to do it, if it was a different type of volcano, I would say, that could be something that they could do. So think about Yellowstone, right? Yellowstone is technically a very huge active volcano. It's underground, deep, deep, deep underground. It's like what would you call it if it was like the skin? It was like dermal, subdermal, or whatever. Like you get what I'm saying. It's deep underground. We can't, in a sense, see it, but we know that it's there due to the fact of the activity of Yellowstone and everything that transpires. That is there. If it was not a super volcano and, in a sense, a ticking time bomb, I would say that the United States could use the energy from Yellowstone to, try to, give power, electricity, let's say like to that state or the towns or the areas, different stuff there. Another way of doing, clean energy. I feel like realistically, the whole of the West Coast should be, they should have like these underground fans. I forgot, is it off of Japan or is it somewhere in Europe? Somebody around the world has like some underground type of like fans that catch the water current and they turn with the current so that they can stay consistent. They can stay, catching the energy and producing electricity. Like I said, if we really needed energy, there's a multitude of ways to do it. There's a multitude of ways to do it. And you can have things set up to the point where you're both producing the electricity and you're also having the same system producing it, feeding off of that electricity. So it's like you're doing two things at once. And it's beneficial to everything. It's beneficial to the planet because it's clean. It's beneficial to the aquatic life as well because the waters aren't being polluted. Nobody is really, fracking or diving for oil or whatever it is, something that might mess up the seafloor or the coral reef life. Um, and we're getting the energy at the end of the day that we need. Uh, what he said, the Jomo said, chlamydia and fish, houseway. Yeah, yeah, that's where we are. That is where we are. And it's like that now, if I'm talking about the future, going back just a bit on what I said, talking about a scary future, that's scary. Just thinking about the fact that they're doing stuff and now you got fish getting like STDs. It's like, what are y'all doing? Stop messing with stuff. Like, why do y'all always gotta pull some Island of Dr. Moreau type stuff? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand like why you need to always do this. You know, Ms. Carter said, um, I remember when I saw that, I was like, what other STD may I get from eating food? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yo, DC, what is up? What is up? What is up? Burnt up from the fish. Yeah. Yeah. DC said, peace, Seji and fam. All right, man. Ghost said, I'ma stop. I'm rambling. I just don't see it unless government infused. I don't see it. People ain't getting Teslas like that to infuse. I mean, this is why you got other companies though that'll start producing like, electric cars. Tesla was technically one of the first ones that's just like really just producing electric cars. Everybody else is doing like two things at once because they're unsure. If the car companies were really about their electric life, they would have shifted everything to electric. They would have just did it like Apple. Apple's like, yo, we're gonna make this shift. There's no more CDs on our laptops, and your phones don't got no jacks. You're just gonna have to buy attachments if you want that. But this is what it is. Like I said, Apple does that, and people respect Apple, and they still buy those Apple products. Some of those phones be costing $1,200 to $1,500, and people still buying them. Giving away a kidney and a lung, in order to get the brand new iPhone. So, if the United States government really wanted to do it, they could do it. And you talking about you rambling? I've been rambling this whole time. Sometimes I feel like I'm rambling, and I'm not even in my body at the moment. I'm just sitting up here like talking. It's like I know I'm talking. I know what I'm talking about, but it's just like it's an auto. Um, Miss Carter said, "I live in Florida. I just put solar panels on my house for free in Florida. That's dope. That is pretty awesome. Like, just think if you own some land though. Like, if you had like a nice amount of farmland, you could set up like a wind farm. Like, you can have like a mini wind farm. You got solar panels on the house and on the ground. Think about how much electricity you will be producing just by yourself. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of power in literally a lot of power in owning land. You know, Ghost said it's funny you say that. I'm looking into that right now. I just called some folks about 2 days ago, but the overall cost is dumb unless saved or helped by the government. Oh no, no, no. Okay, so they do have like some government, I think, is it grants or something, but they have some things to help with like solar. I would say you might have to like really look some stuff up locally, like online. But especially watch some, they got videos on YouTube about this. Like I said, I'm just giving you the information. I'm not really going like in depth because it was a while, because a lot of stuff that I happen to like talk about, I used to like binge watch it a lot. So at one point in time, I could probably sit up there and spout out a couple of states and different things on how they cut the cost and all this other type of stuff. Um, in one of the live stream, I actually gave y'all some information about some a company that was doing the batteries. They got like backup batteries and different stuff like that. Excuse me. DC says, Seji, what do you think about them finding vibranium in the DR in Congo? I think I know what you're talking about because I should have that video. Um, but if you technically think about it, they had a lot of this stuff like all over the place. If you look at Haiti, Haiti is one of the only or the few places on the planet that has a certain material in which all of the space agencies basically use because of how resistant it is to high temperatures. So that's the stuff that they use in order to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere whenever they have a shuttle or whatever it is. So like I said, um, I get what some people state where it's like, yo, this Wakanda, this stuff dealing with like Black Panther was fake, it was made by the white man and all this other. But there's some validity to the things that are put directly out here. It's just that people have to do the research and connect the dots in order to understand, you know, specifically what it is. Because some people are like, yeah, it's like Wakanda's just one place, but if you technically think about it, it's larger, than that, right? Go said, I think government is trying to get panels away for real, for real. Just look at the power bill last 2 years. Solar panels work now, but if everyone and their mama using panels, then I don't know, man. Our government needs work. I mean, but see, this is the thing though. You already know that everybody ain't about to use solar panels. And plus, in order to really have solar panels in your house, you have to have a clear view of the sun in order to, like, really in a sense make money. If you're in an area that's nothing but trees, yeah, it's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem. You're not gonna be producing the amount of electricity, that you need. Is gonna be pretty slow. Versus if you're somebody that lives in like Nevada, Arizona, whatever, where it's not but sun, really no trees. Oh yeah, you pulling it, you making that money. You gonna be getting them checks, directly from the power grid. You're gonna get that money. Miss Kane said, "Yeah, I know. I didn't know anything about stocks. I was in real estate game back then, but I was able to retire at 39 through real estate. That's dope. That's pretty awesome. Congratulations on that. Congratulations. Congratulations. Um, the other thing I would, in a sense, tell you to do is to just keep your eyes up and just pay attention, to cryptocurrency. I would tell you that. Do as much research as you can, learn about blockchain technology and all those other types of things. Like I said, there's a lot of money out here that is moving around. There's a lot of money to be made. And also, I'm stating cryptocurrency due to the fact that the soon enough the United States government, they're still trying to hash it out. They're working on a plan on how to basically move the physical dollar over to digital. So that's, they're trying to get it over to that. So again, for anybody that's afraid of cryptocurrency, you better tell that to the government because they're trying to work on a way to get that to, really, take hold and be 1,000% usable. Go said companies and government is too greedy for it to work in time. Real time, they had electric cars in the early 1900s, and that Tesla stuff, the government all kept. Right, 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 right. Both full time. If you ask me, I know what you're talking about. The government's full of it. Davis said, "Isn't the PS6 coming in 2026?" Yeah, the PS6 is coming pretty soon. This is the same thing. Everything for me is a repeat because how quick they're coming out with the PS6. This is what they did with the PS3. When the PS3 first came out, I'll never forget it. Within that same year, in a magazine, it was a Game Informer magazine. Sony was already talking about the PS4. I'm like, yo, how are the yeah, the PS4 is going to be way more powerful. It's going to have this, this, that. I'm like, bruh, people can barely get their hands on a PS3. People can barely afford a PS3. And you already talking about a PS4. Craziness, the disrespect. How Sony, continuously gets money from people, I will never understand. And this is coming from a person that has a PS5. But I skipped out on the PS3 and the PS4. The last PlayStation system I had was a PS2. And I didn't get a PS3 because I didn't like how Sony was not, in a sense, consumer friendly. Didn't like it. Ms. Carter said the frequency from the vibration, it's the frequency. Yep, 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 yep. Ghost Walker said, this is energy, though, not a consuming good. We've been on the cusp for like 150 years. We're backed up from government theft on energy products. Right? Ms. Carter said, I'm very big on frequencies. I understand how it all works. Ah, yes. That's why, music in a sense it's a science. It's something to actually learn and understand. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of the beats, are frequencies and they're, lows and highs and mediums and all these other types of things, and it can change your energy. It can change how, you're perceiving things and all the other type of stuff. Like I said, the main way I learned that was from my teacher, where in private school, they were like, all right, before y'all have this quiz or this test, we're going to do an experiment. So this one week, when y'all study for y'all testing y'all quizzes, because our test was always on a Friday, but we would have quizzes throughout the week. It was all right. So this week we're gonna, without the music, we're gonna sit up there and just like let y'all study. It's gonna be like silence. Everybody study for like 15, 20 minutes. Then we'll take the quiz, and then Friday we take the test, right? And then she was like, next week, what we're going to do is we're going to play classical music. So while you guys, are studying, and also when you take your quizzes and your tests, you're going to have classical music. And then we're going to compare how it is that you guys did, versus, each one of those, right? And from that study, she basically told us that, everybody did better when the classical music was introduced. So when we had classical music to study with, to take the quiz with, and also take the test with, we did way better versus without the classical music. That's because of the frequencies that are there, the tones, the rhythm, all that stuff that is there. It's different. It hits the mind and the body different. So because of that, you respond differently to it. You know. Let me see. Miss Carter said that would be great if we could use Mother Nature or natural elements for free. We could if we were in a society where we didn't have like a ruling class, and people were actually for the betterment of humanity. We could easily do that. We could easily just do that literally overnight. But people are like, well, somebody has to be on top. Somebody has to make money. Somebody got to do this. Somebody got to do it. You know, so that's why we won't be seeing it. It won't happen within our timeline. Ghost said, like, I agree with you, Seji, with the tech. I don't believe government transitioning. It will work in time. They late already. Look at healthcare. Shaking my head. I mean, yeah, yeah. But you gotta, the government derails stuff on purpose. Ghost Walker said that's a crazy idea, though, Seji. The gentleman said Nikola Tesla was willing to give free energy, then mysteriously deleted in a hotel room. Yeah, it was the big three. You had J.P. Morgan and all those others that did it because out of fear and also off of the fact that they were trying to figure out a way on how to make money directly off of it. Now you see what happened later on. They figured out how to make money directly off of it, off of the electricity, and stuff like that. They build the car, produce the batteries, and then they also, own the factories or whatever it is that give out the electricity. So if I gotta, charge my car, I pay them for the car, right? I might need maintenance. That's going to be them. Might need a new battery. That's going to be them. Upgrade. That'll be them. And then on top of that, if I want to charge, then GE is going to be the main ones that I'm charging from. So it don't matter if it's a charging station or if it's from my home. So somehow, some way, pretty much all of them are going to be making money off of it. Those said it's all about incorporating the product to fit capitalism. It's all about for real. If not handled that way, it would collapse the structure. So they stay killing great ideas. They want slaves. Yeah, that's the same thing that a lot of companies do, like Nike, Apple, and so on and so on and so on. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all. Let me show y'all something. Speaking on tech, was it the Power Show? Was it the? Nah, nah, nah. Wasn't that? Uh, where was this? I forgot what the name of it was. Let me see. Oops. Um, find it. I think it's like they just wiped it off the thing. I think they might have. Let me see. Um, yeah. That was the one. That is the phone that I wanted. Oh man. Let me tell you a piece of tech. Now, if there was a phone that I had to pay like some crazy money for, this probably would have been it. And it was due to the fact of what it was able to do. Right? Some people might not know about it. Some people might know about it. So this is what is called a modular phone, right? So a modular phone enables the user to, in a sense, customize the phone the way that they want, right? So you got a secondary screen. So you see the secondary screen on the back. You see the camera, how small the camera is with the flash. So basically, all of those compartments you can take off. Everything on the back of that phone is modular. So it comes in pieces. So if you want a bigger battery, let's say you wanted your battery to take up like 50% of like the phone. So the bottom, that red part that you see, that's a battery. So you can add either another battery or you can add a larger battery, which would be like 50% of the back of that phone. So you have way more battery life, right? Or maybe you want like a larger camera. Since it's modular, you can just take out that small little camera. You can add in a larger camera, right? You can reposition everything and whatnot or whatever. Like, yo, yo, I'm telling you, I forgot who was it, Google that bought this? Or was it Microsoft? I forgot. Somebody, one of it was either Google or Microsoft. One of them bought it. Yeah. I'm sorry. Maybe it might have been Google because I remember the company that originally did it, and then they got bought by Google, and then Google never did nothing with it. Never did nothing with it. That phone right there for me, that should be the new way that Android phones should be. But the other aspect that I want people to understand is that the modular ability to do stuff that's been transitioning for a minute. Alienware has a laptop where you can literally open up the laptop and you can swap around the parts, modular parts, right? Because normally laptops is not like that. It's like pretty much a laptop is like one and done. It's like, all right, well, you need some more RAM. All right, fine. You'll insert like a couple of sticks of RAM. Pretty much that's it. But no, you can basically replace a lot of the major parts in that laptop. They got a brand new controller for PlayStation. That's a modular controller where you can replace the analogs, you can replace the buttons, the triggers, all of that. Like I said, stuff where you, in a sense, have control and you can, swap the things around. I love stuff like that. Like I said, a lot of tech out here, dope. Ghost said, I'm hip and about the help on solar strategy, but good. Look, maybe most don't know. Oh, okay, I got you. Like I said, I just be talking, man. I just be talking. Miss Carter said, in Florida, if you live here, you get the panels 100% free. You just pay for the service. Wow, that's crazy. Ghost said, I'm in Ohio. Yo, take care. Yo, take care out there, man. They have a government plan that helps on cost. I'm just starting to look into it. Okay. Ghost said they need to stop playing. We need free energy. That's the next step in a higher living mentality. Yeah, the moment in time that you can start getting the planet on like clean energy, whew, the technology that we would have, it's not going to like the stuff that we have now. It would look like Stone Age compared to that technology. If we were literally able to get the whole world on clean, renewable, reusable energy, the way that the planet will look in like the next 20, 30, 50 years, drastically different. Drastically different. The amount of species that are going extinct, that would be going extinct, drastically different. The way that the oceans look, the coral reefs, drastically different. Like it would be crazy. It would do so much good and it would be so beneficial. But we're at this place. Ghost said, I got my energy bill like last fall and almost fainted. And then got so heated, was about to flip my whole energy bill. ah, um, the only thing, and this is coming from a person that more than likely uses, energy because I'm always up. You would just have to figure out some energy effective ways. Like I'm not sure if you got like a house or if it might be a townhouse or something, but have some people come out and have them like survey like your windows, um, your air conditioning unit, your doors and stuff. Like trust me, if your energy bill is high, it's because you got stuff like escaping. So like if it deals with like heat and stuff like during the winter, if everything is insulated or whatnot the way it's supposed to be, you won't even have to have the heat on that long because your house is going to be keeping up with that. Or there's certain DIY things that you can do for your home to do to help insulate. You can also potentially call a company to put some insulation in certain areas because they got like equipment out here that can read where like cold air is leaking from or coming from, and they can pinpoint certain things and then go into like the walls or whatever it is and and pack all of that stuff up so they can stop that from happening. um Miss Carter said the dark ages again. Yeah, but somebody has said like, what if the dark ages weren't really dark, right? Somebody has stated to me like, what if the dark ages were basically a time where technology and everything was actually very great, but then people decided to hide it. So that's why it was considered the dark ages, because it was a time of darkness in order to hide, in order to in a sense restart you know technology and all this other type of stuff. So just gotta be looking at stuff a little bit different. And it's like I highly believe, that is more than likely the case. Because if I'm going to think about dark ages, then I'm thinking about, hey, the sun went out. The sun went directly out, dark ages. Stuff like that, or the planet was encased in a dark cloud and we didn't come out of it for 100 or 200 years, whatever it is. I highly believe that it was just a point in time that the powers that be were going around and they were gathering information, a lot of these books, ancient scrolls and ancient tech and all this other type of stuff, and they were hiding it. Like I said, I like a lot of the treasure movies that they got where they find like this area, this library, and it's miles. I'm talking about miles upon miles deep of just old information from a variety of civilizations. Like I said, art imitates life, life, imitates art. So, I highly believe, there are areas like that. Like I said, the Vatican, they hide a lot of stuff. They got the originals of, a lot of paintings and, all this other type of stuff. David said Atlantis. Yeah, yeah. It was once stated that Atlantis was a large continent that helped to connect all the other continents. Like it was stated that Atlantis had like bridges, land bridges that went to all the other continents. So like I said, it's a lot of stuff, and I got some pictures of like some old maps, and I'm like, some stuff is looking kind of different. Ms. Carter said, I feel everyone wanted to be God who knew how to use technology. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Whenever man gets, something brand new, it's like, hey, I am God. Um, I mean, in a sense, I get it. It's like you wanna be like your father, right? If I look at it a little bit different, right? So if my father, let's say like my father was like Hercules, right? He's a demigod, strong. He can do, a variety of things, whatnot, or whatever. It's like I would want to emulate that. I want to be just like if my father is this powerful, I am his son. It's like I should be this powerful, or I should at least attempt to, be a portion of the strength of my father. So it's like I get it. I understand it. And for in the aspect of like, let's say like child abandonment, right? For a lot of kids that don't know who their father is, they'll try to live up to an image of what they perceive or think or wish or hope that their father is. So I feel like this is what, man basically does. Like man has like never in a sense, met, God, right? So they will try their best to live up to or to emulate or copy, what it is that God is able to do. That's what all children do. Every single child tries to emulate or tries to be like their parents, right? And I feel like that's in a sense what man tries to do. And this is why, I will always say that, no matter how old humanity is, out of the universe, humanity is the child of the universe, because we still don't know, we still don't understand, but we're advanced in certain ways, we're capable in certain ways, but yet we're still not, old enough to really be out on our own, to really manage. Right? We're still at home with our parents. We're still at home, paying rent. We're still at home eating from the refrigerator, aka the earth. Right? We are still dependent on the planet that was given to us by, our parent. So we're still a child, right? Now, to certain extents, you'll have children, they'll try to do stuff on their own. Like you can look at NASA or SpaceX, like, yeah, they're trying to go out there and, go to other planets and stuff. But it's like, are you realistically ready for what is out there? Can you actually survive? Have you been taught well enough in order to accomplish the goal that you set for yourself? And it's like, we'll see. The greatest way for us to learn how to explore is to go into the deepest reaches of our own planet. If we can do that, live there, survive, and all the other type of stuff, then we can obviously do the same thing in space. But we really haven't done it yet. We really haven't accomplished, that feat when it comes to technology. We got more than likely areas out here deeper than the Mariana Trench, and we don't even know what's down there. We haven't even really sent technology down there to even see what's at the bottom. Now, we'll say that there are more than likely some things down there that we just are not meant to see, that we just should not be seeing. But sooner or later, we're going to end up seeing it, or it's going to end up seeing us. Any which way it happens. Um, Go said, what do you think about the theories that one, they created extra time, erase time because of uh, Pope of Nice and Constantine, 300 AD. Two, the Dark Ages was when they stole Europe from blacks. Um, I mean, you can say that a lot of time has been stolen. Like, all right, well, if we're going with the whole thing of like time being stolen, then we can look at what the Ethiopian calendar, and I think they're in what, like 2015 or 2017 right now, while we are currently in 2023. So in a sense, just think about that, right? Let me see. Let me just catch that real quick. Um, Let me see. Oops. Yeah, the Ethiopian calendar year is 20. Is it 2015? I think it is 2015. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking it's 2015. It's one of them. So they're far back. There's some years back. I think it was supposed to be like 7 or whatever it is. I forgot. Somebody can correct me in the comment section. Um, but they're pretty far back, when it deals with the years. So it's like just think, okay, so the technology we have in 2023 is technically like 17, 2015 technology, right? So then if we're going by like their calendar, just think about like what it was like when it was supposedly like the 1950s, right? And it's roughly the exact same thing. Like it's crazy to in a sense think about, time and differences and all these other types of things. But do I believe that time can be stolen, or it was possible that it was? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, like I said, there's a lot of unexplained things that take place that people know about. Where, let's say you have this instance of like deja vu, different things of that nature, where you feel like you just relived the same day. I can't tell you how many times that I've had a deja vu and it was clear, where it was like I knew exactly what it was, but I just didn't know when. And then the moment finally came, and it's like I didn't realize it. But then after the moment passed, given some time, then it was like, oh man, it was like, yo, I had a clear thought about or a dream about this. And then later on, that exact thing pretty much happened. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So, it's highly possible. And then on top of that, given the fact that, you got the Hadron Collider and other tech out here where they're opening up different types of like portals and and all this other type of stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the worst thing that they can do is try to put a Hadron Collider directly on the moon. Like I said, I love technology, but I'm not stupid. That is not something that needs to happen. First of all, we got two different things here, right? One movie basically stated that the moon is, in a sense, a fake moon, right? It's an object that was like created by by other entities, right? I forgot the name of the movie. It was a recent movie that actually had came out, and in that movie, the inside of the moon was hollow, and it was a white dwarf that was on the inside of the moon because it was actually like a ship. Um, Another instance dealing with the moon, I forgot what it was. Yeah, another instance dealing with the moon was which H.G. Wells, the Time Machine. It was with the movie. I love that movie still to this day. One of my favorite movies dealing with time travel. And he went to the future, and everybody was celebrating, right? And then later on, something happened, and the moon fell apart. It shattered, it broke apart, and it started falling into the planet. And when that took place, it pretty much decimated life on Earth. Talking about decimate, it reset everything. And after that happened, after some time basically went by, you know, human beings started doing what they normally do, but it was pretty much, basic. It was pretty much basic, tribal type means. You wasn't really dealing with technology and all this other type of stuff. You were just living off the planet. You were dealing with the tribe, dealing with the people, that type of thing. Um, Ms. Carter said, yes, exactly. You have the blueprint, and we all want the blueprint. Yeah, yeah. Ms. Carter said, I'm more interested in the ocean. What is the versus what's in outer space? Yeah, I get that. I get that. I get that. Ghost said, fire. David said, We are old souls. We've lived life as someone else in different time. You talking about reincarnation? I got you. Talking about reincarnation. I mean, you do have some kids out here that can tell you a lot of stuff, but it's from a different time period. And I'm like, that's some of the most interesting things. Like, and there's a movie that, in a sense, delves into that, but it deals with technology where it's like you use the technology to gain a lifetime experience in minutes. I think they said it was like, what was it? Like, you, in order to become like proficient in something, you would have to have spent like 10,000 hours to at least to be like a standard proficient in something. You would have to spend like 10,000 hours. So I guess like you could say like martial arts or basketball or whatever it is, like you spending those hours, you are proficient as possible, with that. And it's like I believe it. I believe it. Um, was it Moon? Oh, okay, that might have been, yeah, it might have been Moonfall. Yeah, yeah. Because I remember I'll be watching so much stuff online, man. I can't even tell you half of the name of some of these movies sometimes. Yo, what's up, Mo? What's going on, man? What is happening? What is happening? Ms. Carter said there are all signs around us, especially with our own powers within ourselves. Pay attention to the signs. True. This is true. Um, the thing I say is this: it's hard, in a sense, to pay attention to what it is that you are able to do. And that's by way of design because of a lot of the distractions that are placed directly out here, right? So the main thing, like I tell people before, I like right now I can talk and just be dealing with the whole thing of like humanity, dealing with like life, people unifying for the best of humanity to excel and to be prosperous and all that other type of stuff. And then you have the whole other flip side where it's the world as we are right now, which is in a sense grounded, right? Where everything it delves into religion, race, ethics, morals, like all that stuff, right? And depending on in politics as well, and depending on the things that people are into, it will in a sense divide people from not wanting to work together and all this other type of stuff and yada yada yada. That's why I, in a sense, I liked the book. It was I didn't fully read it, but I technically I watched the movie and I cheated and I read the end of the book. But it was by Aaron Rad. It was called Atlas Shrugged. I've referenced the book here and there, but more so like the movie. Um, and technically, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here, in a sense, delves into Atlas Shrugged, which in a sense dealt with like this guy who was like a genius and he was coming through with these ideas of different types of ways of living and technology and stuff. But once it got to a point where people were, I guess, like after him and different stuff of that nature, he went into hiding and he took some of the world's smartest people, like engineers, architects, all this other type of stuff. He took them with him, right? And they built an area. It's there, but it's not there at the same time. Like you have to have, it's like a gateway. In order to get there, it's you have to take like a gateway in order to, to find it and to get there, right? You have to be allowed in. And they in a sense were trying to build like a utopia where things would be different from what it is in the normal plane of existence, right? Where you have, the laws, you got, people fighting over color and ethnicity and religion and politics and all this other type of stuff. You got the rich and the poor, elites and all this other. They were, in a sense, trying to build a world without all of that. and they had the technology and everything in order to do it, but you had people that were trying to get after the technology and also to try to control it and to stop them, from being able to do it, to accomplish that goal. Because beyond anything else, the main thing is fear and greed. Fear and greed, right? So that's one of the reasons why, as humanity, this is why we can't really make it nowhere, because of fear and greed. Those are the main things that will, forever rule. And then behind all of that, you got chaos. Um, Let me see. Ghost said it is moon or imperial theory is that it was built by what Nim Nim Zader? The same guy built the pyramids. Yes, one guy designed that. Ghost said theory was Anunnaki that was around the time of Moloch in time supposedly last Mars before the nuke India started to fly. Huh. That's interesting. That is pretty interesting. Never heard about that one. I mean, I heard about some, but yeah. Ms. Carter said, I put the moon landing in and then put in your own picture. This is the thing. The funniest thing about the moon landing is this. I put up a video. It was an article where NASA basically stated that the pictures of, um, was it Antarctica or was it I forgot, or the planet, I forgot. But the pictures that they basically be showing us are generated. They're not actual pictures. And I'm like, hold on. You're NASA. I'm like, hold on. You've been basically showing us this for, life in some instances. And you mean to tell me that we can't even trust the pictures that you yourself, NASA, basically are putting out? And also note, NASA is the same individuals that basically said that they lost the technology or the ability to get to the moon. The dude literally said, like, yeah, we had the technology to like literally get to the moon in like seconds, like nanoseconds, but we lost it. I'm like, hold on, sir. Wait. You're talking about teleportation. You literally said you're literally talking about teleportation. If you're saying that you can get to the moon in seconds and nanoseconds, and y'all had that technology, how in the world did you quote unquote lose that? Like I said, there's only a certain group of people that can lose this. Black people don't lose trillions of dollars. Let me just put that out there. That's just not something that happens. I can't name you a black person that's lost $1 trillion. It's like, this is madness. Let me see. Um, Ghost Walker to the Book of Enoch. Oh yeah, I know about the Book of Enoch. Yeah, the Book of Enoch has the tablets of Gilgamesh. The Book of explains it. Right. Yep. As Carter said, the moon when I put it wasn't there. Nothing. Every click, I put nothing or Photoshop. As Carter said, I put my own moon click in there. It's a solid moon. It's a gas or plasma field. Whatever happens to Mars next. Oh, like I said, things are going to be very, very interesting. Like I said, 2030 is going to be the start of some very, uh, interesting, types of things. Some things in between there is going to be a little bit rocky, but that 2030 though, that 2030 though is going to be interesting. But um, I forget. I think I'm just like I just hit like a gray fog area. But I do have a video up for you guys if um, you would actually, care to partake in looking directly at that. I was actually supposed to end the live stream before 7 because I didn't want to interrupt, um, the video, being put out and whatnot. But again, as always, I love talking to you guys. I love having these conversations, these back and forths with you guys, added in information, stuff that I need to actually look up and different things of that nature. But what I'm going to do here is that I am going to end the live stream at this moment. And I'm probably about to get started on making some body butters at this moment and fixing something to eat because I'm very much hungry. So, for everybody here, much love and appreciation. Thank you for being here, listening to me ramble about any and everything at this moment in time. Um, and also, thanks for the add ins, with the conversation as well. Go have a great, awesome, good morning and a very uh, great day. Start to, your day and different things of that nature. And also, be safe. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next live stream.